Welcome back to another one. What a chaotic day. Non-stop. One job after another. No rest, except for when I have to ice my foot. And watch some Sopranos. But yeah, busy day. Let's hop on to Hermitcraft. No one's online, dang, makes me sad. There were loads of people online earlier. Let me give you a little heads up. So if you're watching this on the second channel, it'll come out a few days after this stream. So if you missed it, there will be an episode of Hermitcraft for you to enjoy, where I reveal all of this. Bam, down here. It's basically finished except for some of the redstone behind the scenes, which we might get stuck in with during this stream. But my plan is to do a little project that needs doing and have fun with it. That's it. Double E says RIP LED cushions. Yeah, about that. Oh boy, this happens so often. I record a snapshot and then after I read the comments and I'm like, I wish I could just redo some of the things that I said. Because in my mind, I was thinking about all the comments I read of people who understood that nerfing the whole cushion inside a cauldron thing made sense, and I thought, right, the communities, you know, it's got their thing about them. They got their heads on straight. We're being calm and rational. Good. Then in comes the nerfing of the LED stuff, and in my mind, I sort of conflated the two because you use the cauldrons to make the LEDs. I was expecting everyone to be cool with it, and then you get all the Mojang hates fun comments. Now, I know some of these can be comedy and stuff, but it just goes to show online something triggers people to speak up. And on the previous video, it triggered a more rational, reasonable crowd. And on this one, it triggered the, let's dunk on Mojang every opportunity we get. You know, they are letting us play snapshots. You know, they are letting us see the development process. They put something into the game. We find unintended behaviors and they remove them. It's not that they hate fun, it's that they're developing a game and they want it to be balanced in their vision. And it bothers me sometimes. I think that I may be involved in making that worse, you know, which is definitely not my intention. The Cat Mistress, thank you so much for 4 months. Appreciate you. Your favorite derpy admin is back. I'm back. Yes, I am. Alicia says Argentina was so rough. Oh, we will talk about that. We'll talk about that. It really was. You know, like I'm not upset, but I this is the analogy I came up with for myself. When England are in the World Cup or when we're in the Euros, I get like a bit of a spring in my step. Like the days just feel a little more special. You just keep thinking, the next game's coming up, and then, you know, we win that one, we win this one. It puts a spring in your step, and then when you're out, you realize that spring is gone. That spring is gone. There was a dream, and it has disappeared. Hey, do I know if the speed settings on the new snapshot work on horses? I don't, but I will look into that for you. You see, this is the problem with me having things to do on snapshot day. Like, I have a plan. Well, today's not snapshot day, right? Like, I get through everything one by one. Okay, player speed, bam. We show it, we explain it. Let's move on. I don't get the time to sit and think, what are all the implications of this? Then I might think, oh, does it work when you're on something different, like a boat? So I'll have to come back to that in a future video. Sometimes I'm just pressed for time. That's just how it goes. Okay, the little project that we're going to do, honestly, might be worth reordering all of those hoppers so that the thing comes in from the side somewhere over here. Because we have... This place is tricky to navigate. I don't think I can go through here. No, it's like a dead end. We have a bamboo farm somewhere around here. and we want to transfer fuel from it. So I think we found the bit. Yeah, I gotta be careful, man. There's redstone here. See what I mean? Right, so somewhere around here there are chests. This block should not be broken. And I didn't want to use free cam, but I'm going to use it for this. Yeah, look at that. Actually, that block can be broken. For some reason, I thought the pressure plate was on top of it. Why do I not see the chests here? So much for not using cheaty free cam. Okay, so if we add like hoppers here, we can pull from these chests. So my thinking is that we pull from the middle one, and we create like we move the items somewhere else. Well, we move them over to the fuel source. So they're going to go basically across this direction, and they're going to be lower. So then we're going to need to send them up an item elevator, possibly craft them, stuff like that. All right, do we want to move to football talk already? At the end of the day, England bottled it. Sat back up 1-0 against one of the best teams in the tournaments. 2 up, yeah, go play for it defensively, but at 1 up was just silly behaviour. I kind of agree, but I wouldn't word it like that. I actually thought we were the better team. Not by much, but I think we had the game right where we wanted it. And what infuriates me is the tactical changes that our manager made when we went 1-0 up. Like, we immediately switched to defense, and then he starts changing the formation and making us weaker. Like, oh, it was so bad to see, because once the changes were made, you could see how they weren't working, and the Argentine manager with their substitutions played perfectly into what we were doing. Like, when we switched to 5 at the back, we had Spence on our left, their right. He was so vulnerable, and Messi kept drifting out of there. So not only did we like switch our formation, we stopped having Anderson man mark him in the middle. So Messi all of a sudden got all of this space, and he just backed off from the attack, and he just hung out on the right, and like you could see the team constantly giving the ball to Messi, and he would orchestrate what would happen next. He wasn't man marked. He doubled up with the other winger on the side, and they started getting crosses in. And that second goal, man, you got 3 centre-backs. 3 centre-backs on the pitch. And all of the England players, on average, are taller than all of the Argentines. Like, it was just pathetic at that point. And I don't think it's the players' fault. I think it was a really bad managerial change. And the players were giving it their all. They're exhausted. They've been in a long tournament. And they're being asked to do something that is just difficult and doesn't make sense. It was rough. Rough to watch. Blue Raven, thank you for 42 months. Wait, has it been another month? No, that means I'm leaving to go back home soon. Not looking forward to the heat and the Canada wildfire smoke. Good news is that the weather held today and I managed to visit a mountain in the Alps. Oh, awesome. While driving through 3 different countries. You've had a long adventure. Awesome. I guess you're going to have some of those like post-adventure blues and stuff, but like take it in your stride. Did you want me to show you the slots? I did actually. It's funny because I finished recording the episode of Hermitcraft today, and then I had to make the snapshot video. And at the end of it, I said like, oh, I want Cub to show me this. So maybe I can edit that in tomorrow. Just put in some extra stuff into the episode. That'd be super cool. But just want to say thanks to Loxian, Noah Parks, Heart Gamer, Edsa, and JSTP. Big stream streaks. Peeps keep coming back. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I guess we're heading to the Nether, right? Like, if Cub wants to show us the slot machines. But yeah, well, I'll probably talk football a little bit more later on. But really, I cannot stress it enough. It just felt like the manager changed our tactics, changed our formation and shape, and it just ruined the game for us. And the players put in an absolute shift. They're knackered, and they're being asked to do things that just don't work. And now England are out. And I really feel like we could have beaten them. It wasn't like a team that was way better than us outclassed us. I felt like it was there for the taking, and we just you know what I mean? Was that a vape sound? No, man. No, man. I'm a health guy. You know, I'm all health conscious. That was a bottle of water. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. It's not coming home. It's not coming home. It's not coming. Football's not coming home. Hi, Cub.
I was so sad, Xisuma.
It was. Did you watch any of it?
I watched the whole thing, man.
Oh, dude, you don't ask me. You're gonna send me on a rant.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate.
It was rough, man.
I,
It was rough.
I thought England played well in the first half and the first start of the second half.
Yeah, man. We had the game. Well, I felt like we were the better team. Like, and then it was tactics, man. Our manager changed what we were doing, changed our shape. Just it made it all so much worse, and then just had to sit there and take it.
Too many defenders.
Yeah. Yeah, the shape changed. Messi was then free to roam and do whatever he wanted. We were overloaded on the wing. They could start putting crosses in. And that second goal, man, 3 centre-backs. And on average, the England team are taller than the Argentines. Like, 3 centre-backs, and no one's got that guy marked. It was just, just absolutely gutting.
Yep.
Oh.
Not coming home this time. Not coming home this time.
I don't think it ever will. But I always like to dream. I always like to dream.
Never know. I mean, England have a pretty good football culture. So I mean,
we do. We do for sure. One of these days, maybe. So, Cup, it's kind of funny that you invited me over here because I was recording my episode earlier, and in my episode I said, "Oh, I hope like I can meet up with Cub and look at the redstone with you." And then my episode ain't even out. You sort of read my mind. You know what I mean?
Oh, nice. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, you want to go and take a look at the slot machines?
I do. I think I like sussed out the theory of how it works. You know what I mean? Maybe not every little bit of redstone, but I think I've got the gist of it.
Sure.
Dude, you got those speedy boots. Woo.
Yeah, you gotta have the speedy boots.
I need some of those. Yeah. Do they ever like wear out your armor?
I imagine a lot of time in this tunnel. It does.
But, oh, okay.
For the most part, it's not too bad.
Yeah, keep an eye on that then.
Netherite.
Are you faster than when I'm flying? No way.
No, still significantly.
Yeah, way slower. Way slower. That was a random cow.
Yep, West Tunnel cow. We got everything here, man.
West Tunnel cows. Yeah. That's sweet.
Yep.
I started doing a little bit of research on the song, by the way.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I got to figure out. I got to figure out how to make a Western track. So I've been listening to some songs, taking notes, figuring out like what keys and scales they use and the aesthetics. It's really fun to have a challenge, you know.
Very good. Yeah. It doesn't have to be too long, because the whole game lasts like 4 seconds.
That's true. Yeah, it'll probably just be like Skiz's game, where it'll be like a 30-second song that plays on loop.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah.
So here it is. West Tunnel slots.
West Tunnel slots. Welcome, Xisuma. Welcome.
Thank you. I didn't.
So I presume you know kind of how it works, like for the player, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the player puts in diamond blocks and presses the button.
Yeah,
I understand that
diamond, bit. Yep. Press the button. Yep. And the other one that works the same, except it's with the lever. Ooh, somebody won here.
Whoa! Jackpot.
Ooh, man.
Look at that.
That's impressive.
That's a cool banner. Does the
so
banner look more cartoony when it's in a shelf?
It does, yeah. Well, it looks more cartoony actually just on the shield, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because the scale is different than the full banner, so it looks a little
That's
bit different.
right, yeah.
Yeah. So I can show you how it works. If I break in here, we got a little
There's no official access, just break stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. So basically both these work kind of similarly. I don't even know if you can see it, but yeah, it's kind of tough to access, but there's basically a how do I put this? There's a barrel or a dropper rather that has items in it.
For signal strength.
We read out of that and then compare it to this barrel here.
Where
2 items in it.
where is the comparator that comes out of the barrel up there?
It's like inside the machine, kind of. I think it's
Oh, I
this
think I
one right
see it
here.
now. The gold block.
Well, yeah.
It's just it's so compact. I'm gonna free
Yeah,
cam this.
And this
Okay, I
one,
see it.
this one, the gold block, yeah, is the winning condition. And so then this system down here with the powdered snow, both these powdered snow, this is the winning condition. And it always gives you 1 diamond block, but you can win multiple depending on how this roll goes for you. This dispenser right here that I'm looking at.
Okay.
It can either output a snow bucket, powdered snow, or a shears. If it puts out the shears and tries to shear something, then you only get 1. But if it puts out puts up or takes out the snow block or the powdered snow, then you win another diamond block, and that can go on for a couple different times.
I see, because it rolls this over and over again. Is that right?
Yeah.
So this is some sort of like shear and powdered snow randomizer, but it can act as a loop. So then
Correct.
the powdered snow gets placed, which the observer picks up. How does it then pick it back up again?
The empty bucket.
And I guess when it of course it's like a flip flop
Yeah.
because of the observer. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
really clever. You don't need to
Yeah, it
scoop
is,
it back up. It's like both placing it and scooping it is the same action. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
cool. That's cool.
Exactly. And then we also have a system, Xisuma, that feeds the diamonds that people put in. It feeds those into
Ooh.
a crafter, which crafts the diamond blocks.
So part of the prize goes back into the payout. Yeah.
Yep.
No, part of
So that way
the
you don't have to
input
keep
becomes the
refilling.
output. Right, but what happens when this crafter fills up?
When this crafter fills up, it goes to this hopper, and then this hopper.
Oh,
and then
it
this
backs
barrel,
up.
and
Yeah, there's like a
does back
buffer.
up.
Yeah, okay. That's
Yeah, yeah.
smart.
Yeah. This one over here, though, this one I sort of solved that problem by putting in a sort of a diamond filter, but it only takes out profit if you overflow.
Oh.
So it's the same system, but it also takes out the profit. You can have a bunch of chests down below if you really wanted to, so it never really overflows.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then this one works a little bit differently because it has the rolling mechanic. So we use torch burnout to make it look like the shelf rolls for.
Oh, that's how
and
you
different
get.
items
That's how you
swap
get
in
the
and out.
pulses, right? That's interesting because on occasion I've had to do redstone where it's like you wanna make a circuit that like pulses 5 times or whatever, but I never remember torch burnout. Is that 4 pulses?
That's 8 pulses.
8. Oh wow. Okay, 8 pulses. Wow.
So it'll pulse 8 times, and then it also randomizes what like goes into the shelf. I think it's like 4 times maybe. But yeah, that actually will like roll the. It'll actually like it's a real roll basically with the torch burnout, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So there are multiple items in these droppers. So it's like an elevator, and then the items appear at the front. But
Yes.
when you get 3 totems at the top, does that mean there can't be 3 totems at the bottom?
So this one, so the readout of each of these is a little bit different. So the classic one we see over there, that reads out of the dropper where the items are not.
Mm-hmm.
This one reads out of, so it puts the items into the shelf, then it sucks them out and it tests this dropper down here.
So the last
bottom.
play was a win, maybe? Is what that says?
Yep.
Okay, that bit, I thought you were doing it so that if there are 3 totems at the top, then the other items in the system are therefore always going to be a different signal strength. But yeah, now I understand it's after they've appeared at the top that you then detect them. That's cool.
Yep. So there's a little bit of a delay. So like it pauses, the system will pause, showing you what you rolled. Then it sucks the items out. Then it detects whether you won or lost, effectively.
Yeah.
That's sort of the
Fascinating.
system.
Dude, I love this. I kind of miss having a reason to make a little contraption like this, especially those super compact ones like you got over here. I love love getting in the weeds and doing all the like observers and super compact stuff. It's fun.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. This one actually, so this one over here, this was not my design.
Oh,
This
okay.
is somebody else's design, but this
Yeah.
one is my design here, this one.
Is that why this one's like color coded with different locks and stuff?
Yes.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I might get stuck in with something like this soon because your music thing gave me some ideas. You remember we did that sort of improvised piano playing?
Yes. Yeah.
I have some ideas now to create like imagine a beat machine where it's not asking you to design your own beat. It's just got like 4 presets and you get to like cycle through. And then similar to that, it's like there's a bunch of bass lines. I'm not going to ask you to program all the notes. It's just like there's a bunch of different presets. So you can like mix and match instruments together. And I want to set it up in a way where it's like a duel. So like teams go back and forth and we decide like who's got the best little soundtrack.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That sounds cool.
It
That sounds
does,
very
yeah.
fun.
And yeah, you've been my inspiration for that.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, that sounds amazing. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, man.
Are you gonna have like a little like? Should we have like a duel, like a music duel? Like
Definitely.
tournament type thing or something. I don't know.
Definitely.
That could be fun, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I just got finished with my big like music maker project that's had me just like grinding in a cave for the last couple of months. So now I'm like free to do cool stuff and have fun again.
Sweet. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, man. So's this.
That's awesome.
I really love the redstone down here. It's inspiring.
It was really cool. Yeah, yeah. I saw this one and I was like, this is cool, but what if it was actually like a roll that you could like
Mm.
it actually showed how a real slot machine works and it like cycled through items and I was like, yeah, we gotta build that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yep.
Right, dude.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to it. If you want to
Yeah,
come
me too.
hang
I
or
gotta-
anything, hit me up. But I'm gonna be grinding in my base again.
Fantastic, man. All right.
Cool. Thanks for the
stopping
show.
by.
See you, dude.
Cheers, man.
That was very kind of Cub to show us that, right? It's awesome. He won't get me playing it though. I'm just gonna be marveling the redstone, which yeah, like you heard some of the ideas there, right? You heard some of the ideas. Right, we got noises in the ear. Hunter the Slugcat says, hey, Xisuma, cushion LEDs still work. You just had night vision enabled so the cushions didn't darken. Yeah, I know I had night vision enabled, but it didn't matter if I did or I didn't. They're still broken. So if you set some up in a world yourself and exit and go back in with the new snapshot, sometimes when you go in, they're broken. Sometimes they're not. They can also kind of break in different ways as well. So play around with it and you'll see that they are unfortunately like messed up. But yeah. The LED floor reminds you of the season 9 dance floor Corrales had. Yeah. I hope Mojang like find a fix that means we can use it consistently. So I hope they're listening, because I think that one they should give us. They should give us the LEDs. I don't think they should give us the cauldron tech stuff, you know? 3 peglets in a coat. Thank you for 37 months. Hello, hello. You're all currently in my pocket as I'm watering the plants. Do you mean you're just listening? Just a random voice coming from your pocket. Come to the wrong place. But yeah, thank you so much for the support. It's always appreciated, people. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me on a Thursday evening after the snapshot goes out. We just bumped into Cub. We're gonna be going back into the cave. We're gonna hook up this thing with fuel. Part of me wants to do this in a way where you don't use a big line of hoppers, right? But that usually ends up with like a bunch of edge cases that are really annoying. But I can kind of picture a way to do it simply, maybe. So do we want to use water streams to get the items over here? If we did, I wouldn't need to rebuild this. We would bring it in from back here. So I wanted to avoid using free cam, but I think we're going to end up using it. Our water stream stuff will probably go down low, so we'll probably drop items down, push them across, it'll zigzag around and come back up somewhere over here. Am I articulating myself well enough, chat? Do you understand the challenge with the redstone and stuff? Because sometimes I notice that it's not that easy to follow what's being discussed. Andy Brint says yes. Well, that's that boosts my confidence. Hi, Xisuma. I didn't know you like count your blessings by Bring Me the Horizon respect. I actually don't. Maybe you didn't read the blog. I'm not the biggest fan. Well, maybe I didn't even articulate it. I really didn't like that record when it came out. It was fun to listen to it again, but I adore the EP that they did before it. That had such a vibe, and it just disappeared when that record came out. I was never really into Count Your Blessings. For me, Bring Me the Horizon is that first EP, and then I just didn't like follow it or get it for a while. I didn't really enjoy Sempiternal, and then it was That's the Spirit that sort of brought me back around again, and I kind of got into them again at that point. You just saw the blog and you didn't read it because you got excited. Fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, that's me and Bring Me the Horizon. Like, and I cannot tell you how much I adore that first EP. You should go read my blog on that. You'll see that I am like really enthusiastic about it. I discovered Bring Me the Horizon by mistake at Download Festival, their first time ever playing there in 2006. Someone told me to go watch a band called Mendied on that stage, and I got there at the wrong time. And this is before smartphones, by the way, people. This is like primitive technology. I'm not sure I even had like a timetable or a schedule of like what was going on. Although I used to print them out and take them with me, so I probably did, but I just had the wrong time or something. So, Bring Me the Horizon were playing, and I had never heard of them, never seen them before. And when I got to the stage, they were all wearing their emo mop black haircuts. I was like, what is this? And then there were these giant mosh pits with people swinging their arms, and I was just like, what is this? And the music, I just loved it straight away. I thought it was just absolutely rotten and foul and really like snarky, and I loved it. Yeah, so and then like I wanted to get in the pit because I was enjoying what I was hearing, and they cleared out a massive area, and there were loads of these kids like hardcore dancing, and I just immediately ran into someone and got punched in the face because I didn't know what hardcore dancing was. And it was just an absolutely wild experience. And then they did like a wall of death, and like I was just going nuts, and that was it. I was in. I was just like, this is crazy. Give me more. Oh, I loved it. Good memories, good memories. What are my current favorite bands? Currently, you're gonna make me pull up my own blog here. Do you know what? I keep meaning to do this. Whenever I get pulled over to, oh, by the way, we're approaching 2,000 posts. Why can't I pull this up quick enough? What am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong here. Let's try it again. Okay, so if I go, would that work? Apparently not. Maybe. Yeah, I need to fix something. Hey, bam. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look. I haven't written in a few days. I've kind of just felt like the writing thing drop off. Like it's like it comes and goes in waves. Finished listening to Scarf. This band are really cool. They had so much potential, and this last album, I think that potential kind of dropped off. So I listened to Bring Me the Horizon, Periphery, very, very set in their ways now. It's kind of hard for their albums to have an impact. Been loving this record. I keep going back to songs on this one. This is like soundtrack to my summer right now. Devin Townsend, The Moth was absolutely awesome. Really great listen. Then we got Eros, which I haven't listened to as much lately. But yeah, of these that I can say I'm like into right now, this act right here, Floating Sun, I've been listening to some of their other records, and it falls into this category that's hard to talk about because it's also similar. But this kind of like ambient music stuff, drone, I have such a desire to like chill out and calm down, and this kind of music does it for me so much. So I've been enjoying that. The new Thief record is great. I've gone back to that a little bit. But at the moment, I feel like all the things I've been into have just kind of settled down a little bit. I'm listening to another Carnival record, and the big one I've put on a Taylor Swift record. Give me a second. Folklore. And I think I'm really going to like this record because immediately some of the lyrics really jumped out at me. I love the tone of that record. It's very cozy and comforty. And I feel like I'm really going to get into that one. Here's Scarf again. This album I didn't like much at all. I should definitely listen to some more Borgir again. That was a good listen. But yeah, I think much of these records that I've chewed through in recent weeks are now like kind of behind me a little bit, and I've got not a lot on my plate. It's mainly just that Taylor Swift album that's like got my attention right now. But yeah, this record is really fantastic. Keep going back to some of the tracks on that one. Couldn't really find another Peeling Flesh record that pulled me in like this one did. We're literally listening to Troll Slayer right now. But we're listening to the Highport album, and we've got Sewer Synth coming up next. Troll Slayer has got a lot of stuff, and I'm slowly getting into it. Got the Chaos Cube soundtrack. This Pliny record was awesome. I did not like this record that much. Did not like this record that much. And then Little Sims, that one was all right, but it's kind of like out of my mind now. Yeah, just. Oh man, Enter Shikari, that was a great record. Great record. There you go. How's that for a little tangent? You just got here, which Taylor Swift? Folklore. What do y'all think of Folklore? Just first two listens has really pulled me in quickly. Have I ever listened to As Blood Runs Black? Yes. Yes, I have. That record that came out in 2006, oh my god, did I listen to that so much. And at one point, as a guitarist, I almost kind of reached the level of ability to play their songs. I might have been able to do that again recently had I thought of that. However, I haven't really played guitar for like a week and a half. I'm just sick of injuries, and it seems that it's aggravating some of my injuries, so I'm giving it a break for a while. So you love Folklore. It's one of your favorite Taylor Swift albums. Awesome. Do I know the band Architects? Yep, I've seen them live a bunch of times. They're one of those bands that I just go watch with my mates and never listen to their albums, but like I really like them. 1989 is one of your favorite of hers. I mean, after Folklore, I'll probably look for another one to get into. Is Folklore one of the ones that she went and re-recorded at a later date? What am I doing here? I think I actually wanted to keep that stone. It's very hard to talk about other stuff and play Minecraft, I've learned. Flint Maury says, what is all over? Thorgil says, Flint Maury, welcome in. Football is over. It's definitely over. She never redid Folklore. Okay, cool. Because I'm kind of like not into her stuff enough to like want to listen to the same albums re-recorded. Or maybe I could. But like, where would I start? Should I listen to the re-recorded ones first? I don't know. But what I do know is that I think I'm going to enjoy Folklore. She only needed to re-record her first 6 albums. And why did she do it as well? I'm pretty sure I've heard it explained in the past. It's just not coming to mind the reasons for it now. I think what I might do... Oh, should I use all 3 chests? I feel like if I want bamboo wood, I'm going to come over here and just want to access it on occasion. She re-records stuff to overshadow other women who are starting to do well. Yeah. Do you know why she releases albums? Because she hates people. Oh, she wants to distract you. You know. Oh, something bad's happening in the world. Taylor Swift just released an album to distract you. Come on. Come on, be serious. She wanted to own her own music. The masters to her music were brought by someone who had bullied her. That sounds like a way more plausible and reasonable explanation than the previous one. And you know me, I like reasonable. Because she hates women, other women. What was that comment again? It was terrible, whatever it was, I'm sorry. Someone's asking about my Achilles injury. Yeah, so I went and saw a physio. That kind of went really well. Oh my god, chat, let me tell you. Poor old X, I have the most knots in my calves. Okay? If there was a record for the most knots in one's calves, I would own it. I think I'm going to have to go back there for a couple of sessions just to get the knots out. She had to use her elbows. And, like, the pains I were feeling were just, like, really difficult to tolerate. Like, I don't know where I put it on a scale, because I'm always kind of... I've got a high threshold for pain, but there's always more that could come after it. I would say probably somewhere around 7. I think any harsher and I might have teared up a bit, you know what I mean? But to be like lying down in a relaxed environment, or however you want to word it, and just have someone, you know, work out the knots that build up in your muscles, and it to be that painful. Oh my goodness me. I could feel it like from the calves all the way up to my hamstrings, right? And I have tight hamstrings, and I very regularly stretch them out, which I can't do at the moment because that aggravates the Achilles. But anyway, I'm telling you, knots absolutely everywhere, all over my calves. And yeah, they're going to need some work on, basically. They're going to need some work on them. Apparently, Willie is here with an original question. What's my opinion on cushions? The real life ones. Do you know what? That's interesting. I'm kind of not a cushion person. I'm quite focused on posture. When I was at my mate's watching the football yesterday, I used cushions to sit on the sofa better, because the sofa was one of those like lean back ones, and I was like, this is terrible for my posture. So I'm like using it to prop me up and sit as correctly as I can for a while at least. Faye Charles says, just hope you feel a little better each day. Thank you. So I really wish I'd obviously gone in there sooner and addressed this as soon as it popped up, but I didn't. Unfortunately, I learned that what was aggravating it was bending over. Like when I have those moments where I bend over and I feel it go, whoosh, you know, light up, and it's like, ah! It's almost like you can feel the inflamed muscle fibers. If I had this knowledge sooner, I could avoid it. But what's really annoying is that since I've been to the physio, yesterday I had a moment where I bent down quickly to move something and really aggravated it. And then that wasn't yesterday, that was the day before. Yesterday in the morning, I was thinking about that. I was thinking like, oh man, it really sucked that I just bent down quickly without thinking about it and flared it up. And then that says I'm getting out of bed to go to the toilet. And as I get back in, I'm thinking about this. And just somehow the movement back into the bed did it again. But today I've gone through the whole day without doing it. And I think it's a little too soon to talk about if it's on the mend or like what direction it's going in. But like a day without aggravating it is successful. This day I've only walked 8,500 steps. So I've kept my walking to a minimum. It's very rare for me to hit like under 12,000 steps in a day. So I'm trying to like not move around as much, but I am just built to move. I don't even remember why I walked over it, all this talking. I'm just built to move. Yeah, I just get antsy if I don't move around. I just feel like this constant need to be active. I've also only eaten 2,100 calories worth of food today. it feels really weird to eat less food. But if I'm not moving around as much, I don't need the energy. So, anyway, I'm coping. I've had a very busy day, and I think that's helped a lot. I've just been constantly on something. And when my stream is over today, there'll be a Hermitcraft meeting going on I got to jump into. I got to do some rehab exercises. I've got, like, loads of little jobs. I am just going to be busy, busy, busy until I go to bed. And that's fine. That'll keep my mind off of food and stuff. Tap fingers, wiggle toes, do little stretches, take time, says Fayechild. I'm always moving around and stretching out throughout the day anyway, but yeah. This is, by the way, this is also like giving me a little bit of like a sense of maybe reframing my priorities going forward. I think I want to change up my diet a little bit, like get more anti-inflammatory foods in there, and maybe focus a little bit more on stretching and walking as opposed to running so much and weightlifting so much. Like, I think I'm going to, you know, I'm getting older. This has been a bit of a scare. I think I'm going to start to focus more on strengthening the weak points in your body, like the bits that succumb to injury more, rather than like muscle building and running for endurance, if that makes sense. Like, I think I need to shift my priorities to building a body like to last the years, which is kind of been my mentality. But what I'm realizing is that isn't lifting heavy. I mean, strength is important, but like when you lift heavy, you tend to neglect things like your tendons, right? Turmeric is practically a performance enhancing drug. It's that good. Ben, I was mixing in some turmeric to my lentil bean curry today, and yeah, I'm going to mix some into my food tomorrow as well. I mixed some into yogurt the other day. That's a good way to get it in there. When you say it's practically a performance enhancing drug, like, I am super curious when we read about these like superfoods and stuff, how much of a difference are we talking about? I kind of want to know. Like, same with anti-inflammatory food. If I eat tons of spinach, is my heel gonna heal up faster? Like, what's the impact? What's the percentage? What, you know, because it's all fair, and I believe it, that, you know, some foods have properties in them that are great for healing, but sometimes you learn that that's very marginal. It's very small, and like, you know, maybe the company that's selling the product wants to tell you about that because, you know, it's technically true, and then it gives them a bit of an edge to sell their product. But yeah, you think superfoods are 90% marketing? Anti-Brin, I don't know. This, again, it's the proportionality of it. I think the buzzword of superfoods can be a little bit misleading. Again, it's like when we like distill and focus on one little thing on its own, it becomes a bit iffy. When you take in the broader context of diet, it makes sense that having stuff like flaxseed and chia seeds in your diet is better, because a lot of people are eating these like hyper processed food diets, and if you switch from that to eating whole foods, you're gonna do better 9 times out of 10, right? That's the way I think about it. I might just fill those in. Let's get some wood slabs over here. We've got spruce, we've got oak. I think I got a lot of junk on me, yeah, from building the machine. Let's not get too distracted. I was about to wander off and put those away. Let's wait, see what we can do with this first. All right. Slabs. There we go. Oh, missed one. What does buzzword mean? Great question. It's like a word that captures your attention, right? So when we say superfoods, immediately you're kind of like, superfood? Maybe it makes you feel like you're missing out, or I need that, you know? And that would be like a buzzword. Sometimes the buzz is justified. Other times, I'm not so sure. When bees say things, but I love it. That's definitely what a buzzword is. It's just a bee having a chat, you know? That's all it is. You think clickbait but in word form? Yeah, pretty much. That could be one way of describing it. Aha. Right, so that's going to go around the corner and go down here. Or at least that's what we want to happen. And then do I want to put glass all... I think I'll put glass all around it, you know. Bear says, "Hello, gamers. It's Bear. Where's my honey?" Seeds are dietary fibers which improve over time your stomach. The acid levels are well regulated and you don't fall sick often from overeating. You should definitely look into edible economics by Hey Yu Chan. Dude, I am definitely going to look into that. I've definitely become a little bit more diet conscious. Like, I had a meal the other day, and like I eat pretty well, but it had like way too many egg noodles in it. And then I was sort of thinking about like, I could have just put one nest in instead of two. And then I was like, or maybe like egg noodles. Maybe I should pick rice over egg noodles. The empirical evidence I've found on turmeric so far has been somewhat vague, but it won't harm you, says Burt Potato. Yeah. You've doused my hopes a little bit. Now I'm like, yeah, probably just a bit overstated, isn't it? Right, I don't have any glow lichen to put up there. Bit worried about something spawning, but I think this light here is taking care of that, so... Right, so we're going to have that stuff come through here, which means I have missed something important. And I should have signs in here, which I do. We'll use some of these signs. I have these from working on the other project. Also, did this thing over here fix itself? I think it might have done. It's still probably quite backed up, but the fact that the copper golem is heading back looks promising. You think turmeric works as a laxative? It hasn't for me. I mean, I guess it depends how extreme that laxative is, because I have not had any sudden urges. Chiropractic is practically a scam, says Jacket Fracket. I have mixed feelings on that because, yeah, in some ways it kind of is, but I've been to a chiropractor and had my back cracked, and it kind of helps, but I only went the once, and it was interesting because it was a long time ago. I was trying to discover how to just have better posture and, you know, solve back pains and stuff like that. And I told the guy, I'm like, you know, I'm trying to sort out my posture. I'm like looking into getting an ergonomic seat. I use a standing desk, la 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 la. And he basically said to me, like, you're fit, you're healthy, you're active, you're doing all the stuff that prevents back problems. And like, that's what I want to recommend to most of my patients. But some people just want that easy fix. They want me to crack their back and then go back to their normal lifestyle. And he basically said, just keep doing what you're doing and you'll get there. You'll be fine. And that turned out to be true, really, I think. I mean, at least I hope it was. Right. Rightio. Down goes this thing. That's number 8. Up to there. You know, I don't think we need to have glass over the top of this thing for now. I might come back and put that all in at another point in time. But really, you just need it at the beginning to stop the dropper from accidentally shooting them off to the side or something. Hey, look at that. Whoa. Whoa. Big supply. Big supply. There is evidence to suggest that turmeric has some anti-inflammatory properties. It can also help with osteoarthritis. Yeah, anti-inflammatory. That's what I need in my life. I'm all inflamed over here. Learning about inflammation is really, really fascinating. It seems like such a huge component of health that I don't think is kind of in like the average person's understanding of health. I don't think I even understand it that much, but it just seems so. No music info on screen, says Bear. Sorry. No music info on the screen, says Bear. Thanks for that. I'll put it up there. You prefer standing desk over sitting, at least for longer periods of time. Yeah, you've just reminded me. I am trying to sit more lately just to ease my my heel a bit more. Hey, look, it works today. Why does it work today? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm gonna stand. I've had to get my old running shoes or running trainers back, and they have custom heel supports, which I have realized are actually really, really good. And yeah, when I stand in these things, they really cushion the pressure off of my heel. You know, I basically I got this injury because I've accumulated stress on that part of my body by running barefoot. I really did like amp up my running, which I think would have been okay, but I went from like indoors to outdoors, and then my treadmill broke, and then it was like all outdoors. I must have done like 4 or 5 45-minute runs outdoors, and then it's like, ugh. What's going on here in chat? I think there's just a bit of jokey back and forth, right? Yeah, so in some ways I kind of brought this on myself, but now I'm thinking, well, you know, I'm going to run in. I think I'm going to do some running in barefoot when I'm on the treadmill indoors, and I'm going to do some running outdoors with my running shoes, and just go between both now, which is what the physiotherapist recommended as well. All above the science, health and jokes about posture. Okay, tendons do tend to recover slower than muscles, I've been told. Yep, they do. They do take time. Could you correct the LED news from today's snapshot, says Sashio Vibes. How do you mean correct it? Have I ever heard of the autoimmune diet? Probably, yeah. Link says resting your muscles is the best way to recover. I'm not sure that it is, because I've been prescribed... obviously rest is a part of it, but like you also have to do rehabilitation movements, and you have to change up your diet, and you have to ice your tendons is another one, and you want to massage your other muscles and put heat on them, because all things are attached. Yeah, the night vision thing. I guess I should pin a comment, right? Because it's not just night vision. If you log in and out of a world with or without night vision, they sometimes don't work. In fact, well, they don't. Like, it's broken. I guess I should go pin a comment, because... let's do it now. Maybe I could even tweet it. Just, I don't know, like, I want to do better with communication. It's really, it really bothers me how, like, you put out a video, there's a misconception, and then you're kind of like, oh, it's out there now. Like, it's a shame I can't edit it somehow. But maybe I should just tweet something. I've been tweeting a little bit more lately. It's weird. I think where I've had a bit of extra time on my hands, doing less music, less activity, I've just sort of been wandering over to Twitter, which is probably not a good idea, right? But I guess I've been engaging with my mentions a little bit more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 will be in alignment. 6, 7, And 8, so it goes as far as that. Right, let's let me go log into this snapshot world. Also, I need to oh wait, that's the wrong one. Oh no, it's the right one. I'm sorry, I'm doing off-camera stuff. You'll have to entertain yourselves. Oh gosh, we don't know how to do that, X. That's why we're here. Entertain us, please, sir. Okay, okay, now they're working. Okay. Sometimes when I log in, they're not working, and sometimes they are. And now, sod's law, they're all working. Okay, I don't have time for this right now. Oh, whoa, don't do that, don't do that. Right, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. Okay, I'm kind of concerned now. Like, when did I? The thing is, I've logged in and seen like some of them are working and some of them are not. So I'm wondering what caused that. Maybe I should change it. Maybe. Oh, this is super annoying. Let me go. Let me think this through for a second, people. Sorry. This. What did I call the video? What's on the thumbnail? Ugh. Yeah, no, I'm going to change this stuff because I feel like I need to look into it more. What should I put on the thumbnail? The whole LED being nerfed thing was kind of like the key part. I'm reading your chat. Anyone want to help me out? Any ideas? Let me change my pinned comment as well. Where do I go for that? That's disappeared. Yo, there was noises. I didn't get around to them. Who was it? Qatar94. Thank you for 3 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate ya. I'm a little distracted at the moment, and thank you. It's you again, gifting out community subs. Appreciate ya. Apparently, people are playing rock paper scissors in a poll. Brilliant. Something to do with portals, says Bear. I could put the little Eye of Ender on top of a portal, and that's like spectator mode. I'm gonna do that. I'll do this after the stream. I'll change the thumbnail after the stream, but as of right now, I think changing that pinned comment would be nice. The thing is, it's gonna make like noise immediately.
Welcome back, my friends,
See?
to another.
I guess it's my own video, so it doesn't matter. Okay, let me update that. And let me make a note over here about that. It's so inconvenient to hear the guy I loaded up the stream to listen to. So I just have this like reflex of opening a video on stream, and it's like, no, I don't want to hear the audio from it. Like sometimes it's because that might be copyrighted or it's someone else's video. I don't know. I just have this like feeling where it's like, don't do that. But then if I slow down a bit and I'm like, it's my own video, it's like, yeah, okay, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it's not so bad. All right. Seriously annoys me though. Seriously annoys me. Like, oh god, there's always something. Like, I knew that the LEDs were bugged because when I opened them, they were all different in the world. But now it's like that might be because of something else. And now I'm trying to think like, but like, why was some of them on and some of them off? It doesn't make sense. Like. So I gotta go figure it out. Like, what the heck's going on there? I guess. But, you know, I'll get over it. I mean, I feel like it happens too often that I make mistakes and then, like, miscommunicating stuff. Right, but, you know, now we're doing a stream, so I'll come back to that later. Sign. A sign is what I needed next. So I need some warped words. We've got some in here and some sticks. That's good. I'll have one of those. 3. I guess I probably should have gotten another one. Not bad, not bad. You can't learn unless you make mistakes. Nobody's flawless, says Bear. True, true. But I just... Maybe I'm overthinking it. I feel like it just... I do it all too often. You know? Like, I make my snapshot video, and then... Oh, look. That's not what you thought it was, you know? And then I get really bothered by it. Okay, so I think the way to do this is to ask how much storage do we want to have. I think a double chest is pretty darn good. And if we put in some sort of actually, I think it would be much better to do a water elevator. I was about to build one with droppers. So if we do a water elevator, we want items to come into here. And then we can use a comparator signal from there. The only thing is the water's going to go, like, we can literally make that into a soul sand block, and then it's going to go up here. So we'll probably surround that with glass. All the way around here, and then that'll go up there somewhere. Thoughts on yesterday's game? I had that rant earlier in the stream, and I think it's done. Got it off my chest. Got it out of my system. Tried not to bog Cub down with too much of it either. But I guess if you want this, oh my god, I'm gonna start talking about it again. If you want like the summary, the lowdown, the whatever, it was just a tactical change that was terrible. Basically, it was like we were in a great position. All we needed to do was kind of holds that. What's this missing item over here? I can't remember. That's annoying. Is it a hopper? Yeah, it's hoppers. Put that back. Did I not put the soul speed down? We were in a really good position. I think we were well suited to go on and win the match. But then Anti-Brent says the next told me to stop doing overthinking. Yeah, I was starting to think in the back of my mind, stop overthinking this. Oh my god, we're just talking about multiple things again. And doing nothing in game. Okay, where are we at? We're going to make an elevator, so we want ice to go up through the light blue glass. That's probably not quite enough. Do we have more glass? We've got some here. I think that might be it for now. So how about we wrangle a little bit more there. And do the last 4 of those. Very good, very good. So that should get us through it. So yeah, you know, I really thought we were well positioned. Of course, Argentina were going to come on to us. The momentum would shift, but like the thing would be to not let that momentum come on too quick, because how did we score on a counter attack? And like that was kind of always the vibe, was that it was going to be so. Oh, okay, wow. It was always going to be something like that, and then it happened, and we just needed to like hold our ground a bit more, but we didn't. We just capitulated into this defensive position, and then just the formation change, the tactical changes, it just all went against us. All went against us. Mins, thank you so much for 3 months. Appreciate ya. Feels like you've been here forever. You have, but you've subscribed for 3 months. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for being here forever. Faye Child says, it'll be fine. You sound like you must always be productive. Just be for a minute. Yeah, I am always trying to get stuff done, it feels like. No doubt about it. And, you know, after this, I'll have a list of stuff to do, and that's just how I go. That's just how I operate. Right, other topics. I think we're done talking about snapshots. I think we're done talking about football. I've had enough. Food, says Yakicho. Kinda, I don't know, not sure I'm in the mood for talking about food because I've had to eat so little today. My belly is kind of rumbly. I should probably drink some more water. Fill it up a little bit. I did not listen to the new Mastodon song. I'll give the album a listen when it's out, but until it's out, I'll probably be alright. Isn't there like a thing about you need the water to go over the hopper, not against the side like that, otherwise items get caught in it. So in which case we kind of don't want that there. And we want the water to flow over into a hopper that would be here. So I can quite easily not only move this chest, but I kind of need to move the chest because we need to get a comparator output out of it. So, well, that was pathetic. And then it's going to go into the hopper, right? Oh. I guess I break the hopper first. Then break that. Then go pick it all up. Because I'm making a mess. Okay, did I get the one from over there? Fill in all of this. All that needs to be done right now. Yeah, so comparator comes out of that bit now, and yeah, we put the hopper back on that side. Which, can't quite get to. There it is. Bam. How do you think the Hermitcraft season is going overall? It's going pretty good. It's a pretty chill season. Okay, then I put that there, and then I think it's pretty good. That is definitely pretty good. So next thing involves us detecting stuff. We can do it in a bunch of different ways. Do this next bit in a bunch of different ways. Yes, we can. So I'm gonna need. Oh, I can hear we can hear the farm going off because we're right next to it. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? What happened to our glass, by the way? Let's put some of that away. Yeah, we got this for dropping off junk. Stuff we don't need. Definitely going to need a bunch of redstone. And a bunch of these blocks next, I think. And a comparator, just a single one. I was thinking about using subtract mode, but actually I'm not sure if we really need that. Kind of need to avoid other bits of redstone here. So, could put a comparator on the same spot. Make it awkward to get the redstone signal out. Put it behind a block. It feels to me like... ugh, it's going to be icky going that way. There's no other way to go, actually. Block, comparator. Block, comparator is probably what we're going to have to do. I'm going to need multiple comparators, basically, if I'm to get the signal out of there safely. And at some point we might need some of those as well, so let's just make sure we've got more than enough. What other things we got in chat here? How is everyone today, says Azura? I'm doing good, thanks for asking. Okay, so what did I say? Like block and then comparator there. Just got here, what doing? Moving fuel over to our furnace automagically. Apparently Faye has a really old son. Older than Faye? Because that don't make no sense. So that doesn't interfere, but one there would. Okay, so maybe not like that. So it's like tiled. Got them side by side. They don't interfere. One here doesn't interfere. But a block there would interfere with that. Maybe if I don't put it in compare mode, does it just ignore the signal on the side of it? I need a redstoner to answer that question. I think it does, but I encounter that every now and then. I'm never too sure, and I test it, and then I find out the answer for my purposes, and then I never remember again. Callie, I'm looking at you. Where's my Callie message in chat? Where's my saviour? Where are you, Callie? I know you're out there somewhere. Let me drink some more water. Yeah, says Callie. Come on. You know the answer, right? You were focused on chat. Okay, so... I can't jump. Does this comparator here ignore that? If I do that, it won't. But if it's in that mode... that's compare and that's subtract. I got a feeling it will somehow. I guess, do you know what? No. I can't double up there because if I put a block here, it's the same issue. Is there another way I can move the signal down? There might actually be a spot right here where there's enough wiggle room to move it down because that repeater is not being interacted with, right? That is not interfering with anything. So if I put this here, we're not interfering with the contraption, then that can go there. Or I could possibly just start without any more comparators. Yeah, I can start to do this. Oh, don't break that. I just realized, no, that's part of the contraption. All right, Callie, it doesn't matter. Nope, in compare, it will always be off unless fed a signal strength of 15. But the one next to it was 15, so that would have interfered with it. Interesting. Okay, so we've gotten our signal out of there. We need to count the signal, though, and think about where this is going, basically. So, like, 1, 2, 3... we'll have the fourth one over here. So, remember what we're taking our thing from. When this isn't quite full, we're going to ask for more items. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maybe as we get close to that redstone over there, it's not a bad time to stop. So that's 12. I guess maybe I just go down by 1. Just go down to here. So that's 12, and then we can keep it going. 13, 14. So like that's now where we want to detect when this no longer is being powered like it is at the moment. So like right now it's in the state of needing fuel. So we'll have a redstone torch. On is like active. That's going to extend a sticky piston with 2 observers. There is a bit of a problem here. I've sort of built all of that on the wrong side. It kind of needs to be on this side here, actually, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's go move it over to this side. Same thing, just put it on the opposite side. That's going to work better for routing this redstone. Okay. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we'll do it all like that. Alright. Constant rebuilding. Constant rebuilding. Who would have thought? I'm transporting fuel. That's what I'm doing, yes. I do read my chat. Why am I using signal strength if I need the signal strength to reach 15 blocks? Because... Wait, doesn't that like explain itself? I'm using a comparator because I need it to reach that distance, right? I feel like that's it. Are you sure you don't want to preserve signal strength? You just got out of that comparator chain. If no, why use comparators in the first place? I don't know. I think by the time I finish building this, you'll understand what I'm doing. Maybe? Anyway, so that goes there. This goes here. Now what we've got to do is send that signal this way. I did kind of want a slower clock, and when you do that, it's slower. But you gotta do this way, not when the player puts it down. Oh wow. Okay, so 4, it's like that's too fast. See that's the speed I want, so we'll go with that. This doesn't need to be super fast, but it needs to be reasonable. Okay, so that might end up being a target block. If I power it directly, it powers that. So that's a target block for now. Oh, I think I just remembered something super important, right? Maybe super important. I'm going to go to the wiki for this. So let's pull up Chrome again, and let me grab the link to the Minecraft wiki. Okay. This time it didn't show. Why you no show? Now it's showing. So we'll go look up burn time. Smelting. Fuel. Here we've got burn time, right? So bamboo, like a bamboo block. Here we go. Bamboo down here. So 15 is 300 ticks for one of those. It's the same for slabs. That's... Why is this split into 2? Java Edition it's 7.5. Bedrock it's 15. So what about planks? Are planks on here? So planks are also 15 and 300 ticks. So that means if you convert it into a plank, it's got to be double the fuel, right? Where did I put that bamboo I had earlier? So that, yeah, it's going to be double. So maybe we just put a crafter there. That seems like a pretty smart move. I need to clear some junk again, man. Maybe put some of these shulkers down on the ground. Put some of this stuff away. That belongs somewhere else as it goes. Okay, that's a little easier to work with. I mean, even better now. Okay, so we want to put a crafter in there instead of that. Right, I got all of it. That's okay. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that as well. So, crafter faces into the water stream. Not bad. Now, we want it to do this, I think, pretty much. That's easy. I thought this might have been hard, but luckily, I think we found the easiest way possible to do it. And then we want to put a target block there, and then we want some redstone. Sweet. Absolute sweet. Ah! Ah! Don't worry. Don't you worry about it. Okay, there we go. Right, so it gets us all the way to about here. I'm just going to put a repeater on the corner. And actually, I think I probably want that to go faster. Let's put it on 2 ticks. Oh, wow. Does it get stuck on 2? Huh. It looks like it might be able to get stuck. I'm just going to leave it on 1 then. I don't want to get it stuck. So when we need fuel, it's going to come. It's doing its thing. And it's going up here into the chest, I hope. It's probably going beyond the chest at this point. No signal strength yet. There's a thing above me. I want to go up here, please. Thank you. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, let's go get more glass. Hey, TR7, my dude. Thank you for subscribing. 43. Incredible months. Appreciate you, my dude. Appreciate you. Thank you for the mods, by the way. Like, I'm always pestering you with stuff, and I know you're a busy guy, but people appreciate it. Especially the hermits, man. Some of the hermits are really taken to that mod. Impulse loves it. I'm super stoked. It's great to see the hermits embrace the item swapper. Okay. Now we do this. Cool. So that's that little thing taken care of. In here we do this. And now we'll start to build up some signal strength behind us. Uh-huh. Only that much. That's okay. And yeah, this project's almost done now. Careful, X. Observer clocks can work differently based on how you activate them, if I recall correctly. Yeah, if you place them or if you move them with a piston. That one was moved with a piston, so that's why I set it to 1 tick. Because although I think I would have preferred 2, it looked like it might activate and just leave it stuck. Further testing would tell you the answer to that, but I am just not going to risk it and set it to 1 because I think we won't accidentally send too much stuff. Oh, no! No, there is a reason. It can't pick up the items that fast. Okay. So, we have to go and address that issue now. Can't pick up the items that fast. That's wild. I'm also thinking it's probably a great idea to actually put a roof on this thing so no other items accidentally end up in there. Okay, so we're going to put a roof on it, and then we need to address the speed of this thing. So how do I make slower clock, I think we just don't use observers and just go back to like a classic type of clock, which would involve multiple repeaters, redstone, and a redstone torch. And some blocks to place them on, basically. So this redstone torch needs to unlock. I think my brain is going to work better with this signal locking it now. Because remember, it was... Oh, wait, is that right? If there's not a signal, it's on. So now it's... Yeah, so if there's not a signal at the end, the torch turns off. Now we're going to flip it. Now if there's a signal at the end, we have to turn off our clock. So we want a bit of redstone dust there that does that too. Therefore, you now need to just have something point into it. That needs to then have the redstone dust come over the top and put a torch here. And then have that. Does it reach? Not quite. So now it's sending it over at a slower pace, right? And when there's enough fuel in there, we turn off our clock. So that's absolutely fine. That works. I need to get up the top again. Have I considered using a hopper minecart? No, because it just gets throttled by the minecart again, right? Like, it's the buffer. The hopper minecart is just a buffer, so it doesn't solve the problem. Also, I can't help but feel this thing would probably go faster than what we're looking at. So, got away with one. Got away with one. It's slightly... I think just leave it at that, because it is draining ever so slightly, but I don't think it's going to compete with the speed of the furnaces that it works with, so I think we're good. Man, absolutely got away with one there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's awesome. Now we just got to fill this thing up with a bunch of bamboo. Or I could just leave it to do that, basically. Now bamboo is our fuel source. Okay. Glass is next, I think. Lucky ducky. I was lucky then, wasn't I? I was a lucky ducky. Alright, yeah, so these things get to go away. That they do. Yeah, we want to pack away all of this. We just want to make the glass, I think, before we go. And I remember where all that glass was. Okay. Okay. So somewhere here I've got supplies of redstone. Oh, look, and I got more glass. That's good. Yeah, I got redstone supplies that I'm going to need to finish the music machine contraption. Where is that redstone box? There it is. There's more of that glass. So I'll put all of those things in here. Maybe have some of that. Put some of this junk in another one. And we'll go get some dyes. You didn't know I was moving to France as well. What's the joke there? I don't know what that joke is. Am I moving, X? What? I don't know. Someone said it, now someone else is confused as I am, I think. I'll take that. Right, so I've got a little bit of blue dye. Not enough. We've got loads of white dye, that's fine. Where do we get more blue dye from? Etho gave me a box of these. Right, no need to break down the lapis. We've got the cornflower, that's good. Slap that back in here. Thank you, Etho. Aren't we all moving to France? Yeah. Hermitcraft moves to France. The movie, the sequel. Right, that'll get us through our needs. Bone blocks, bone stuff. Sweet. Pearl is moving as well. Really? Where's Pearl moving to? Somewhere else in Australia, or actually moving like abroad? Okay, that's a lot of dye. That's a lot of dyed glass. Probably more than we need. We'll make a little bit at a time, you know? We'll be sensible. That's how we rock and roll. She's moving in-game. Oh, yeah. Of course. Of course. It's a lot of jokes flying over X's head. Well, you know, saying someone is moving, you know, people move. People move. Hello? Hello? That might be just enough. Because I never like to craft too many blocks, do I? Always crafting just the right amount, which usually means not enough. Okay, those blocks are protected from me accidentally picking them up, which I'm very pleased about. No accidental pickage from me. And now, you know what we got? We got automatic fuel. Automatic fuel. So that thing's going to stay pretty well topped up for a while. There's one chest above it, and it's got to fill a double chest. No, sorry. There's a double chest above it. It's filling up another double chest, but with half the amount because we make planks. So we're just waiting for the planks to kind of back up through here. Oh, they backed up pretty quick. Dang. And that's draining. That's slowly draining, but I'm going to leave that speed alone. I don't want to risk anything there. Okay. Okay, let's get some stone, tidy up some edges. But yeah, we squeezed that into a little space right here. That's good. Have I ever tested my IQ? I did when I was young, and I came out sort of on the dropping off part on the right-hand side. But whatever intelligence I might have had then, I think I smoked it all away. Because I am not a brain smarts person, but I used to, like, when I was in school, they told me that I was going to ace maths, you know, and they put me in advanced maths class and stuff. But then I just did absolutely nothing. Didn't study, didn't go to school half the time, didn't do homework, and I ended up getting a B on maths. And to this day, I still really love maths and think it's cool. And I used to have like a strong intuition for like basic maths, like what the answer is, and I'd always double check myself, and then I'd just be like, why'd I do that? I was right first time. But that's about as far as it went. Like, you know, never really did anything with that. And I think that kind of, if I had a natural ability there, like the opportunity to do something with that's long gone. Long gone. It's been neglected, you know. Absolutely neglected. Smart has nothing to do with IQ. True, like IQ is more of like pattern recognition, right? Like people, you know, there's a thing and other people critique it, but it's usually a sign of some form of intelligence, and pattern recognition is a form of intelligence. I mean, if you do really good on a IQ test, it shows that you're really good at doing that thing, at least, whatever is on the test. But yeah, and I remember what it was like when I was younger. I definitely had like a way sharper mind than I do now, so, you know. Thinking maths is pretty cool means smart. I wouldn't say it necessarily does, but like I think you're more likely to be relatively smart if that sort of stuff interests you, right? It's harder to be interested in stuff you don't understand. That's for sure. I definitely have a high EQ. Yeah, man, my mix is all way off, isn't it? I think I might be the only one who got that joke. Right, let's go around here and sort stuff out. What I want to do is finally sort things away again. Empty shulker box don't do nothing. That can get sorted away. So empty ones go down here. I have a feeling there's a bunch. Yeah, there's a bunch of that. Then that can get sorted away. That can get sorted away. This one needs the sulfurs taken out of it. Don't think I need that. And then this one I need, and I think I'll hold on to that one just because it's got quite a few things in it I need for the project. Yeah. Is there anything wrong with that one? Nope. I will just drop these into here for now. But yeah, I love this storage system. It's great. You just got to leave it AFK for a while, you know what I mean? I got it X, but I'm a nerd. And we need what? We need nerds. Your brain changes over time. Don't worry about it. You can learn whatever you want. Even if you can't memorize as quickly as you used to. It's true. It's true. It's absolutely true. It's just that, like, maths just isn't, like, on my radar as something other than being interesting. Like, what am I going to do with my time? That question, you know, it's much broader when you're younger, and then you find yourself in, like, a particular lane. There's no reason you can't break out of whatever lane you're in, but sometimes you don't want to break out. I don't feel like I want to break out. I feel like I've got a plan in front of me and I'm enjoying it, you know? So, as much as there are many things in the world, it doesn't just have to be maths that interest me and that I could pursue. You know, I'm kind of getting older and I've built a road in front of me and I like it, and I'm going to keep going down it, if that makes sense, you know? Okay then, so the last two go in. And this one might have an empty slot, but it doesn't. That's good. Get a little roast chicken fill up. If we've got a... Oh, I did that wrong. Oh, now I've got 2 stacks. Whatever. Whatever, bruv. If I've got an axe, at some point... Yeah, look, an extra flint and steel made its way into there, so we don't need that. Can I put some backup roast chicken in here? Maybe I don't need that many arrows, you know? And this is how it works. Right, we do that. We activate the machine and off we go. Oh, and I should absolutely put one of these down here. Boom, and then that gets going. And usually what I do is every time I start doing this, and I'm like, it's completely pointless. Why are you doing this? And my brain's just like, no, gotta get all the 1 items out first. And then it looks slightly cleaner. I'm doing it, even though I'm trying not to. Items must get sorted away. Yeah, right, that's enough. That's enough. These can go down here. Bam, with the other ones. And I need to get my camera account on here to load the area. Peeps, going to be a bit of a shorter stream today because I want to hang out with my fellow hermits. They're in a meeting, and I didn't want this to go on for too long, so I'm really happy we got that job done. Hope you all had a great time hanging out, you know. I might do a stream tomorrow evening. It kind of depends on how tomorrow goes. I got lots of stuff to do in the day, and I'm hoping I get it all done early so I can just chill out and have fun. And maybe do a little bit of mecha. Is anyone hyped for mecha? Is that something you want to see? More mecha with friends? Just let me know right now. Bye-bye, X. I have fun hanging out with friends. With your friends. Have fun hanging with my friends. Oh, the Hermit's got it. Mecha is a good giggle. It is. I feel like I'm getting better at that game as well, you know? I feel like I'm somehow getting a little bit better at it. You played Mecha for the first time and it was fun. It's really awesome. Such a good game. Hey, it looks like Ren is actually streaming. I'll send you over to Ren. And yeah, enjoy. That's going to be it from me today, peeps. I've got lots to do. I'm going to go take care of stuff. Yeah, have a good one. Have a good one. All right, did the raid go? Is the raid's going to go through? Awesome. It's all good to go. Thanks for watching, peeps. See ya. Bye.